Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with this week's tech experts. But first, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, if you're new to the podcast, these are companies that I used as an athletic director. They're all great companies. You should be using them too. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Tech Tuesday guest, then go and visit these sponsors because you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. Hey, we want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Tables and Video Boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. You can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com to get started. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. You know, as a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to our good friends at Home Campus. You know, Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every day. Scheduling, rosters, results. Their eligibility and clearance platform alone is a game changer. Go to Home Campus. Don't forget to mention the podcast. Let them show you how to take your program from good to great. We also want to say thank you to Snap Raise. If you've ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results, those days are gone. Go to Snap Raise. We used it at our school with tremendous success, and so will you. Check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's Snap Raise. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Gipper. You know, your program is doing great things, and the team at Gipper can turn you into a social media marketing genius in no time. Social media posts, newsletters, everything in your color, your brands, your mascot, and the templates are so easy to use, even I can use them. Go to Gipper.com. Let their team get you up and running. That's Gipper.com. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame, which is now known as Beacon Creative. Beacon Creative Wall of Fame has been bringing school legacies to life for the past decade, but Beacon Creative is much more. Their Spotlight product is a creative content service that supplies compelling stories for any digital platform at your school. We always hear from schools that they don't celebrate their students as much as they should. If you check out Beacon, you're going to find out you can start celebrating your students without lifting a finger. Reach out to John at beaconwalloffame.com. That's John at beaconwalloffame.com for more information. We'd also like to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. My assistant AD, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio program, and while they were doing it, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We also want to thank Hometown. Hometown continues to change the game with their suite of solutions that includes things like, digital ticketing, athletic website construction, fee-free fundraising, and a whole lot more. If you're an athletic director, a coach, if you're a principal, Hometown's going to show you how to save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. That's hometown.com. Check them out today. And we want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. You know, at my schools, we use surveys for everything. Student athletes, coaches, and parents. And the information that came back, incredibly valuable and a lot of times over the top positive. And having that positive data when you're sitting with your principal or your school board or frustrated parent, it can really be a game changer. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They are going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. athleticsurveys.com. And as always, don't forget to mention you heard about it on the podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We've got a great one today. We are going all the way up to Wisconsin. We're going to be talking with a podcast veteran. Listeners to the show will certainly recognize the name Jeremy Schlitz. Jeremy is a certified athletic administrator. He's the director of athletics for the LaFollette district. He's the district AD. That's up in Madison, Wisconsin. We're also joined by Jake Stockman. Jake's an account rep for Snap. You hear me say every episode that we use Snap at my school for years with our teams and coaches, and we just loved it. So both of them are going to share their Snap experience. But let's start with Jeremy. Jeremy, welcome back to the Educational AD Podcast.
Thanks for having me, everything you do with the show. I really appreciate it, and just happy to get an opportunity to share a little bit about my experience with Snap and how it's helped support our coaches, our kids, and our schools kind of elevate our programs. And it was, as we all know, fundraising has become more and more of a component of our other duties as assigned job as an athletic director. And I think what we looked at as a district, I've got 4 comprehensive high schools of about 3,000 student athletes or so, is how do we make this the most efficient way with the least amount of work for our coaches, and do it in a way that's safe for our kids and really kind of elevates the experience and professionalism and teaches them a little bit about what's out there beyond high school and how you make connections and how you kind of do some of that promotion around things. So we are really happy to be working with Snap exclusively across our 4 schools for our athletic fundraising, and it's been a great partnership. And I can talk a little bit more about kind of how we ended up making that decision and going to, but a lot of it was really focused on how do we make sure our data is secure and how do we make sure our kids are safe doing what we need to do to support our programs.
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that point up about, using it as a teaching device, with the student athletes. Yeah, that's very important. As we mentioned, Jake Stockman from Snap is also with us. Jake, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us your quick background. As I like to say, tell us your life story in 2 minutes so our listeners can hear your connection to the world of athletics beyond Snap.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So Jake Stockman, I'm based in Michigan. I help oversee a team of about 25 sales reps in the Midwest. But born and raised in Chicagoland, Midwest boy, and was lucky enough to have awesome mentors through athletics my entire life. Even professionally, the first person that taught me sales was my former high school football coach. And so was lucky enough to have a mentor in high school, go play collegiately at the University of Buffalo. Shout out Maction, gotta love some good Maction. And then I end up back in the sales world, cutting my teeth, learning how to make a buck. And I got a call one day from a recruiter that said, "Hey, it looked like you played athletics. It looks like you're good at sales. Do you want to mix those 2 things together with a passion and a career?" And that was Snap Mobile. And so I've been here about 4 years. I've helped oversee 12 states and meet a ton of athletic directors. And the thing that keeps pulling me back is, our mission is really to make the lives of the people that are leading change easier. So that might be a coach, be able to give the coach funds to support their program and create an awesome atmosphere for that student athlete. Or it may be an athletic director or a district athletic director that, as Jeremy joked, is wearing 45 hats now. There's fundraising, there's transportation, there's bus driver, there's dean, there's teacher, there's parent, negotiator. And if we can streamline a process and make their life a little bit easier so they can do what they want to do, which is impact the kids or impact the coaches that impact the kids, then that's a big win. And I wear that kind of as a badge of honor. I still get to be around the teams, talk ball, hang out, learn something new, and support our communities.
Oh, no, again, I really appreciate you sharing that, how it's a partnership, with the schools that you work with. Jeremy, you touched on the multifaceted aspects that Snap has on its platform. Again, I'm sold completely just off the fundraising part, but whenever you're introducing a new system, a new platform, there's always that, little bit of hesitancy. So how challenging was it for you guys in your district with all your schools to inboard SNAP so that it was now a seamless operation?
Yeah, I appreciate you thinking it's seamless already. We're just about 6 months in to have full coverage across all of our, 100 or so programs. And, I think we're never going to get 100 people to be 100% on board for any idea, but I've been really impressed with the presence that we got from SNAP and their representatives being with our coaches and partnering with them and meeting them where they needed to be and finding ways that we can get in front of our kids and not make it an added thing that a coach has got to worry about at the beginning of the season, but something that actually is kind of being taken off their plate. We used to have a variety of different types of fundraisers, and including selling discount cards or something that's similar to what we're doing with SNAP right now. But this was having that unified messaging and the flexibility that SNAP offered us, I think was really kind of assuaged some of the concerns is, oh, this is what we need as a coach. They're going to be able to personalize that to be what it is. And I think that the umbrella that's so consistent for all of them, whether that's when we talk about how we interact around money handling or accounting or things like that, that consistency playing in the background, but the flexibility with each coach and each program to meet them with what they need is really what sold us on that as well.
Jeremy, I'm going to stick with you again for your stakeholders. Introducing this to well, I guess from twofold to parents that are going to be involved, as well as your finance officer. That's as you collect all the revenue. I remember mine at our school. We were a private school. Just loved the SNAP features for the revenue collection. But how did that go as you were introducing it to stakeholders as well as finance?
Yeah, I think, we really made a request for proposal that was really heavy on our data security, our financial tools, et cetera. So before we really launched it, we had already had these background conversations with, whether that's our budget planning accounting team, whether that's our data security team, whether that's our legal team. So they were all on board because of the features that SNAP offered as the platform, some of the certifications that they have around some data consortium and school security features have been really helpful in selling that group. So I think those affiliations and certifications that they have on the school side was really a selling point from that. The flip side is, whenever you have change to your broader community, there's always reservation. And I think, what that was really important to do is, as much as you tried to prepare, we had to be responsive to, hey, here's this concern, which we thought we had explained why SNAP was the right move for us as a district and for each program. But each individual has their own perspective, and really having the quick turnaround and answers and flexibility with Jake and his team really made that easy. And when we think about anything we're doing in schools, especially athletics, if we've got only a 5 to 10%, people that have concerns, that's a huge win, and I think that's what we got to celebrate with it. And I think the other piece that was kind of maybe it was an unintended benefit was we're also able to finally make some connections with people that aren't, in eyesight, right with us, connected in our houses, in our schools, door to door in our neighborhoods. This was a way for our kids who are living a little bit more in a digital global world to be able to reach out to some people that care about them that aren't necessarily going to be able to make it to a game, but really want to have them have a wonderful experience. And I think, what we saw was some really positivity from people that were outside of our district or outside of our state that were able to help our kids. And we're like, hey, thanks. We didn't have a way to support from afar, but now we have a way to stay connected. And I think, that positivity and the amount of increased support that we got financially from our group really offset just the few concerns that were raised when any change occurs.
Right. No, and again, 5%, that's a huge win. Jeremy described, his district, his school setup. I'm going to guess that, you're dealing with some massive school districts as well as some smaller ones. Talk to those ADs that are listening right now. How flexible is SNAP when working with the school district that might have some specific needs, both big or not so big?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of what we do is that we're in the community. And so whether it's a 4 high school district that has a wide range of diversity and equity that's needed to meet all of their needs from both a technology and in-person standpoint, or it's a smaller community that's an hour north of Madison, Wisconsin, and it might be a 500 student high school with 150 student athletes. We've done a really good job and a very intentional job of having our sales force live in that community. So the sales rep that lives in Madison, Wisconsin is familiar with the schools. He knows the schools. He knows the community. And we consider our salespeople assistant coaches of fundraising. We consider them on staff. We want to do 95% of the work. We believe that the coach's job or the athletic director's job is to tell us, this is how I normally communicate with my stakeholders, whether that's my parents, my board. How can you help me communicate what Snap can do for them so that we're all on the same page moving forward? And having someone local that's going to show up on campus, shake the hand, build a relationship goes a really long way with building those relationships with all the other stakeholders around it. So again, for Jeremy's specific situation, I thought it was really key. We got in front of all of his athletic directors at all 4 of his high schools, including their athletic secretaries, who we know do so much work behind the scenes for them. We were able to tell our story, say how we can help. And the best thing is it opened up that line of communication where when that 5 or 10% did have issues with us, and it's the middle of fall and bullets are flying, season starting, school starting, it was a lunch meeting with Jeremy. It was us sitting down face to face. We had a bullet pointed list and we said, great, here's the things that you want to see change, that we can communicate differently, and then we can address those. And the beauty is that that'd be a consistent, whether it's one of our smaller schools in size or some of our massive, call it Chicagoland schools that have 4,000 or 5,000 people. The process doesn't change. It's someone in person listening to the needs and then sharing how we can meet those needs.
Oh, wow. I love that. Boots on the ground. Jake, let's stay with you for a minute. We've talked again about the importance that fundraising plays in any athletic department these days. What are some of the other features that the Snap platform can provide that you've seen really be a game changer for the schools that use it?
Yeah, I think anyone right now in our space understands the consolidation that's going on. Everyone is trying to buy someone or partner with someone or merge someone because our athletic directors, like we said earlier, are wearing so many hats that they need to streamline their processes. So I think the best thing that Snap does is we have a full software package that then we wrap and bundle the cost. I'm Jake, call me Jake from State Farm. We discount double check here. But we will bundle the pricing so that it's not only cost effective because we know how stretched the budgets are, but it's a full tech system where your scheduling, your website, your registration is all in one place. Or you need a mobile app because maybe you have a different ticketing system, a different streaming system, a different gear store. You have all these different tools that you guys are now required to offer, but it's hard for your student athletes and your parents to find where those tools are. So we have the technology to meet the needs. I'd say the 2 things that we sell the most are our app, our fully customizable app that puts all of our athletic directors' tools, no matter what they are, into one place for that alumni, that student athlete, that parent to know, oh, here's my ticket, here's a map to go to the game, oh, I get rewards for going to the game, here's my gear store, here's my schedule. They get everything they want there. And the added tool is that we make it cost effective. We're now guaranteeing athletic departments and school districts 6 figures a year plus because we have the data to back how we can guarantee the results. And so we're able to guarantee the money to pay for the tech and then go raise more money through our fundraising platform. So it's really a one-stop shop. It's one tool for all of your needs, one platform that's also wrapped around with some really cool recurring revenue driving possibilities.
Oh, wow. And again, you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot of people that are, trying to be that one-stop shop. Sounds like Snap's really ahead of the game. Jeremy, have you had a chance in your district to incorporate some of the other features of the Snap platform yet?
Yeah, we haven't yet. We looked at it, and with a couple of things that are shifting both in our state and some providers there in some of those spaces, along with just kind of that, as you kind of mentioned, that incremental way that we need to make sure we're updating stakeholders as we shift models and methods. I think, I appreciate, what Jake's trying to do and provide that kind of one-stop shop. And that's ultimately what we want to get to. And right now we're kind of in that initial incremental step, and to develop that relationship and comfort with a company and a program. And then you can kind of look and see if that's the best fit, for your situation to continue to add additional features that they've got. And, I think the only constant we've got in our business right now is change. And it would be great if we could all see 4 years in the future and know who all was going to be together with different companies and be able to share information and data and automate some things. And, I think that's the hardest thing that we're doing right now as ADs, is being prognosticators of, what education-based athletics is going to look like, from that kind of system standpoint, whether that's 10 years from now, 5 years from now, or 5 weeks from now. It's been such a shifting and changing space. And we appreciate, the companies that want to provide that type of format and solution for us. And I appreciate what Snap's got going in that direction as well.
Oh, well, that's great to see. It's going to be exciting to see how it continues to grow for you and for Snap. Jeremy, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out and pick your brain a little bit more, find out more about how you use the platform or about how you run things at your school, what's the best way that they can connect with you?
Me in Tampa, whether that's in my health and wellness work or some of my mentor coordinator stuff or things that I'll do at the NADC. But honestly, send me an email. I love to connect with people from all across the country and kind of share my experience and learn from them as well. My email is jschlitz@madison.k12.wi.us. And I'd love to, connect with anybody that has some questions, whether it's on this or anything else AD related. I really appreciate broadening the network and helping out however we can to stay connected across the country.
Right. And you can also listen to Jeremy's podcast episode on the Educational AD podcast menu. And his toolbox tips are in the recently published Athletic Director's Toolbox 4th edition, which is available on Amazon. Jake, if somebody wants to find out more about all things Snap, or as we said, pick your brain a little bit more, what's the best way our listeners can connect with you?
Yeah. First way is I probably guarantee that you have a Snap rep trying to knock on your door. So open the school door, take a meeting. We're in all the communities across the country. Going to snapmobile.com is a great way because that'll get you in specific contact with the person in your region. We will be at NADC with Jeremy. Again, I don't know if that's good for my health, but it'll be a good time. And we'll have a booth there. Please come stop by the booth. And then if you want to reach out and learn more about what we're doing here in the Midwest or just pick my brain, my email is jake.stockman@snapraise.com. I'm happy to help.
Well, Jake, Jeremy, thanks again for all the things you do in our space. Thanks for spending time with us today on the podcast. And we will definitely be stopping by that Snap booth in Tampa at the National Conference.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us on.
No, you bet. Okay. For our listeners, we want to remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of every interview to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. And we do this segment just about every week and just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you in Tampa. Before we go, we want to say thanks to all of our great sponsors. Of course, we want to thank Snap Raise. You just heard Jeremy and Jake talk about it. Find out who your local Snap Mobile Snap Raise rep is. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Start creating world-class social media marketing content for your school district. Go to Gipper.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Home Campus, it's a platform you're going to use every single day. Go to homecampus.com. Beacon Creative, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, content creation, as well as standalone video boards. VitalSignsWallOfFame.com and Beacon Creative. Ohio University and their online masters, check them out. Huddle, I used it as a football coach, as an AD. We were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com for more information. Hometown, it's changing the game for schools and organizations. Go to hometown.com and athletic surveys by LifeTrack. Let them create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.